Yo, what is up, everybody? I have an interview here with Roslyn, who is a vegan athlete, scientist, environmentalist, and nutritionist in training. So I thought she'd be quite interesting to get on here just for a quick interview and yeah, just to get to know her a bit more. So yeah, Roslyn, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. I'm Rosalind, as you
Awesome.
can tell, I'm Scottish. So
Hey, awesome. Okay, so we'll just jump right into it. I see you got the cute doggos,
yeah,
on the show.
that's
So
fine.
that actually helps jumping into the first question, which is what got you started with veganism? And what is your origin story, if you just break it down?
So for me to say what my origin story is, it's quite like hard because when I first went vegan, I would have said it was for health. Like I went vegan for health reasons. Now I understand more on what veganism is. Like I'm definitely vegan for the animals, and I'm not vegan at all for health reasons. I always loved animals. Even when I was a child, I would always ask my mum, I want to be vegetarian, I want to be vegetarian, and it would last 2 days, and then she would do what any other mother done, what she thought was best, meat and two veg.
Hmm.
Um,
Classic.
well, yeah, I never stuck, and then by the time I ended up living myself, 18, 19, the habits die hard. So I actually had gallstones when I was 22 years old.
Wow,
Had to have
okay.
gallbladder removed, was really ill for a long time. And even after I had my gallbladder removed, I still couldn't digest animal products. I couldn't digest things that were high fat, couldn't
Mhm.
digest red meat, things like that. So I actually joined some vegan groups. I joined vegan Facebook groups, and that was generally just to um get ideas of food, get ideas like I didn't just
Like recipes and stuff.
I honestly didn't know that bread was vegan. I didn't know that fruit and veg, which probably would make you happy. But I joined these groups, and then I would always be like, "Oh, I'm just going to have cheese, um, like once a month because I need it. Like I want it. My body's craving it." Which is obviously just me wanting it as a desire, not a necessity. But
Mhm.
then people in these groups posted speeches, and they posted animal footage, and then it went to the animals very quickly. From that, I was like, absolutely not, we're done. I was in my third year of university. I'd already
Mhm.
given up fish because I was a marine biologist, and I was like, I can't be hypocritical
Yeah.
and eat fish while I'm eating the fish. So I'd already given up fish from my first year of university. So then, yeah, quick landslide after that, and vegan for the animals. So
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I know what you were saying there about the whole marine biology and trying to save the fish. You're working hard to like study and learn about like the environment, and then you're still eating the fish. So yeah, I
it's
completely understand. Yeah.
still crazy how many people are in environmental science. They're in animal behavior. They're in
Mhm.
this, that, and they just don't make the connection, or they don't want to make the connection because they don't want to change, and it's a very hard line of work to be in when you're an environmentalist, and when you're a marine biologist, and you care about the animals, and you rescue all the animals you can, and then everyone else around you is just doing what they've been brought up to do. So yeah.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask, you have a degree in marine biology and ecology. I was gonna say what originally made you pursue that, and how would that be connected to veganism for you?
So again, it was my gallbladder. So when I came out of school, I went into veterinary nursing, and I done my first
Mhm.
year of veterinary nursing. And then I basically was just on a road that I didn't really want to be on. Like I didn't know myself. Like I didn't know who I wanted to be at 18. But then again, when I
Mhm.
got gallstones and I was ill, and I saw what sort of life I was like living, I like
Mhm.
was like, I have to do something else. I actually went back to college to actually do psychology, and then realized
Okay.
that I don't really like people, but I was I was a scuba diver and I was like, what is the love of my life? And the ocean is the love of my life. My mum,
A mermaid.
yeah, that was my nickname. Fascinated by sailors growing up. So she had lighthouses and boats and stuff in the house. And I was like, I love marine biology. So I applied to work with that. Yeah. So
Okay.
health, um, when your health deteriorates and you're ill and in your hospital, makes you question a lot of things. So then I was like, right, well, this is sort of my wake up call. I'm now 22. What do I want to do? So
Mm. And you were saying as well, because you're in the field, and you're also vegan as well, it's quite difficult to be amongst people who are also studying to try to help the environment, help the animals in the ocean, but also are not they don't really resonate with a vegan lifestyle. Have you had any experience with like with that or situations where maybe you were challenged because of that?
yeah, so lots of situations. I left my bachelor's degree, I was a very new vegan, so I was maybe 6, 7 months in. And then when
Mhm,
I went into my master's degree, there was basically two classes, and it was
mhm,
marine and fisheries ecology, and then there was the conservation group that all sort of hung out, and I was the only vegan within that, and then within that there was only maybe 2 or 3 vegetarians, so I was the only one.
mhm,
I hid it
mhm.
from everything, and I was like the weird one. I was
Yeah.
like, I was um I was mad, I was like crazy, and I was the first vegan I ever met, so like I had no
Mhm,
support, or I had no clue what I was doing either, so I wasn't a health
mhm,
point, I was just trying to get by, so like I wasn't inspiration to anyone being a vegan by any means. Like I drank,
mhm,
smoked, like
mhm.
so I was very like silent about my veganism, and
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm like, again, I would say, oh, I'm doing it for health, oh, I'm
Mhm,
because I don't have a gallbladder, and I'd sort of make excuses for being vegan, um, back in that time. Now they all know, like now they all see my Instagram,
mhm.
Facebook, and
You're
they all
loud
know
and proud.
definitely all the proud, and like I know more of the arguments. Like back in the day, I didn't know that dairy cows went to the slaughterhouse, at
Mm,
like I just did like I didn't want milk, I didn't like it. I knew that there was some sort of abuse in it, so but I didn't know the ins and outs. So I was very silent about it. And then like people will say, oh, you need meat and you need this and you need that, or we're doing fisheries ecology so that we can sustain fisheries. Like so that was one of the things. So you become a marine biologist,
interesting.
sustain fisheries. So you like which is very, very confusing because then in my life now, I'm like, let's just stop fishing. Like
Yeah. So the
that would
easiest way to save the fish is to not
stop
eat
fishing.
the fish.
Like I wouldn't say anyone has been nasty to me or like
Yeah.
they like questioning, and maybe some people like I've had a couple of bacon though comments from
Mm,
conservationists, and you're just really like, really? But like I've never had anyone be nasty about it. Like, and I've
d-
never in the field, like I've had people be nasty about it outside marine biology, but never within the field. I've had a lot of no, plant food is just all like plant burgers and that is just
mm,
processed crap, and like I've had all those comments, and like, well, when you go vegan you don't have to eat Beyond Burgers, like it's not a
true.
necessity, like it's not like a
No.
up thing that you need to eat the Beyond Burgers every week. Um, but again, it's usually just misinformation of what you need to survive, or what they believe is a necessity. Like so obviously they they think that we need meat, they think that we need dairy, they've been brought up that way, that's the way that they feel healthiest in themselves at this point
Mm.
in when they're eating healthy omnivorous food. But yeah, it's stressful to say the least.
And has that been the same for the people in your life, as in your family, your friends, and
Uh,
things of that nature?
so my family, it was very difficult at a point. Like there was always arguments, and there was one year I ended up watching. There was an interview between what's her name, Melanie Joy and Earthlyn Ed,
Ah, no,
and
she's amazing. Yeah, they're both good. Yeah.
book, and so I hadn't actually read the book. I have read the book since, but she was basically explaining to Ed how the dynamics of like why families are really like argumentative. Now, my mum brought me up to be a very moral person. Like, um, she brought me up. She would take me places where there was disabled people. She would take me to African dancing. She would take me to all these different places, and she would always instill in me like these are people, like you can't slag them off, you don't make fun of people with disabilities, you don't treat people of a different color differently. And she was very very in support of that, so she was like a very moral woman as well. So then when I became vegan and I sort of saw the slaughter of animals as being immoral, that then sort of put a strain on her relationship, because she taught me her morality, and then I think even maybe she saw me as being more moral now, or me
Mm,
believing more moral. So that did put a huge strain. And then Melanie Joy like basically explained that dynamic when someone teaches you your morals and then you sort of become more moral, it changes the dynamic. So we had fights for a long time, and I just point blank refused to eat at a table with meat. So I just
mm,
turned and not eating meat at the table. I'm not coming to Christmas dinner. Like went totally
full out. Yeah.
not going to barbecues. I'm not
Mm,
doing this. And then I got the whole, you're making us do this. And I'm like, I'm not making you do anything. Like I'm giving you a choice. You can eat with me or you can eat
mm,
meat. That is your choice. So then through like obviously being forced, they did end up start eating vegetarian with me. So now my mum only eats vegan with me, but she is actually vegetarian, so she has actually given up um meat products. My granny, unfortunately, she died last year, but she did go vegetarian at the age of 72. So for the last 4 years of her life, she did go vegetarian. My cousin is vegetarian. My uncle's vegetarian. My family's pretty small, so yeah, they've went
quite a
vegetarian.
lot of vegetarians. A lot. Mm,
But like they would eat. My mum would definitely vegan with me. Same with my
okay.
friends. Like again, I wouldn't go out with people eating meat. And most of them would be vegan or vegetarian or eat
Sure.
vegan. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So I just want to move it on to the next question that I have for you. I do see that you get engaged in a lot of, fitness, bodybuilding. What's been your journey like for that?
Yeah. Uh,
Did
so
you
I
wake up one day and you were like, yeah, I'm just gonna like enter competitions and stuff like
pretty much, yeah. So
Yeah.
I always sort of try to be fit. Like I try to be what social media, what magazines and all wanted you to be. Like I tried to be the size 10. I tried to be like thin, and I was always sort of thin fat. Like I was always and I always went up in weight and down in weight. Like I drank and smoked, so that obviously didn't help. But I always like circulated through these phases. Like I would diet and I'd always lose 10 to 12 pounds, and then I would revert back to what I was, and then again I would diet 10 to 12 pounds, I'd feel more confident, and then again I would revert back. And then during lockdown, so I am a member of the Royal Lifeboat Institute, so the RNLI. During lockdown, August 2020, we had a shout, and I actually tore all my muscles in the back of my.
Oh.
So I got whiplash from being on the shout, and like I 100% think it was my weight and my diet. Now I was vegan at this point, but
Mhm.
I'm vegan that just ate whatever they wanted. Like I'd been in lockdown
Yeah.
for I ate Oreos, I ate pizza, like There
Oh,
was no,
I thought everything you eat on a vegan lifestyle is healthy. Isn't that the
yeah,
case? Isn't that how sometimes people perceive it?
yeah. Well, again, I was the
Yeah.
first vegan I ever met, so like learning all these
Yeah.
things, finding what was it, accidentally vegan on Instagram. That's probably the worst thing. Like you can have these Wotsits and you can have this and you can have these.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just I was in a tiny little town. Like it doesn't sell tofu, it doesn't sell um like well, it would sell lentils, but it would be like split orange lentils, it'd be nothing else.
Mm.
So yeah, I put on a lot of weight and went on this shout, hurt myself, and was like in pain to the point that I was having to go see like a occupational health person at work. Like I was having to like do physio and it just sort of wasn't getting better. And at that point I was maybe 32 and I thought I am actually going to be in pain for the rest of my life or I'm going to have to do something now. That was
Wow.
in
Mm.
fact it's like when you get injuries like that, when you get back injuries, when you get knee injuries, when you get neck injuries, like
Mm.
you have to solve them. You can't just take painkillers. You can't just
Yeah.
get fatter. Well, you can't put on weight on those areas. You can't just ignore them or they just get worse. So thankfully, I just went, right, I'm gonna have to do something about this. So I followed people like Nimai Delgado, Bianca.
Hmm.
I'd followed those for a wee while, was buying my new house, moved them to my new house, and they recommended two books, and one was by Gemma Newman and one was by Alan Desmond, and just paid all my money to the deposit on my house,
Hmm.
and he was like, "No, I'm going to do it." I ordered these two books on pre-order. They came in January, and I started with vegan fitness in January as well. So I like just went, right, we're going to do this, and then the vegan fitness journey started. I only worked out in my house,
Hmm.
but Nimai Delgado and the team were all more about like how you fix your things, your stress levels, how you fix your mentality levels, how you fix
Mm.
the way that you perceive yourself. So
Hmm.
I was then working out to be skinny. I wasn't working out to be what the people wanted me to be on a magazine. I wasn't working out just to lose fat. I was working out to lose the pain in my neck. I was working out to
Wow.
be
Okay. Mhm.
healthy. I was working out for longevity. So when I started doing that, like the muscle piled on me like really fast
Mm.
because
Mm.
I
Shredded.
started
Mm.
eating healthy. Like I was eating whole food plant-based. I wasn't eating like a junk food vegan diet anymore. I would like
Mhm.
a vegan diet is a diet, but like I wasn't a junk food lifestyle anymore. I was healthy lifestyle and like everyone just sort of came together. It was like it started being easy. Like working out was easy, running was easier. I wasn't getting out of breath. I wasn't having
Mhm.
like nasal issues, like I wasn't having joint pain, I wasn't having like I was obviously still getting muscle soreness after the gym, but like it wasn't anything like it was.
That's normal, yeah.
Yeah. Um and then I had a really good coach and I was like, yeah, I want to be healthy. And then at a point I was just like, no, I want to build muscle. So I started building muscle and not trying to be skinny. And when you build muscle, a really weird thing happens that you can actually eat more food and
Mm.
burn more calories. So then I
Yeah.
found this spot in my life that I could eat food and I could be leaner than I'd ever been because the muscle was burning the calories. So
Mhm.
all great all around. And then I just sort of stopped ignoring the mainstream that women shouldn't be strong, women shouldn't be fit. People were like in my group were very like so it was a whole vegan fitness group. Everyone was
Mhm.
vegan. It was all vegan for the animals. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, like your progress, like you're doing such a good thing for the animals." And then I realized that me shouting that you should be vegan that wasn't working very well when I
Mm.
wasn't fit and healthy because people just go, oh well, like I'm not giving up my health for the animals. Now they look at me and go, all right, okay, you are healthy. Um, And it's just a whole completely new conversation. People don't tend to ask me where I get my protein anymore. They might say,
I was gonna say, are you even meeting your protein needs? Is that even possible on a vegan lifestyle? Or like...
you don't eat Oreos. Um, People won't act like before it was like sort of like a heated question, like where do you get your
Mm.
protein? As if I wasn't going to be able to answer it. Now it's more of an inquisitive, oh, but so where do you get your protein? Like, what can I try?
Yeah,
It's more
it's becoming
inquisitive.
way more mainstream. Like just the whole movement, the whole lifestyle.
Yeah. So people, yeah, like it's not an argument anymore. It's more like more conversations. Like, so yeah, it's good.
Awesome. So yeah, no, 100% you can get your protein needs met. You know, there's so many vegan bodybuilders online now that it shocks me when people have like leave comments. Like sometimes I get comments on my videos like, huh, scrawny vegan, I wouldn't want to look like you or something. I was like, I'm lean. If you want to be a huge jacked vegan, there's so many vegans doing that. Just literally search them up on Instagram and you will find them. So
Usually you get
mm.
they're on steroids. Like I get that all the time, but you must be on
Mm.
steroids. And I'm like, well, thank you very much that you think I'm on steroids. Um, that's a huge compliment that you think I'm big enough to be on steroids. But they
Mm.
don't really understand how steroids work because you still need to eat your protein on steroids. You still need to get protein on steroids. And then most of the people that are saying, oh, you're not healthy or you can't make gains in the gym
Mm.
on a vegan diet, they're not making gains on an omnivore diet in the gym. They're
Mm.
like they're usually average. Like obviously there is some trainers and stuff that are like strictly against it, but most people that come and argue with me
Mhm.
are builders. They're not elite athletes. They're not like they don't have these conversations. Like they are just
Mm.
usually average people. Um, so I'm like, well, have you ever tried it? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so
Mm.
how do you know that it doesn't work for you? I did have one person turn around to me and say, like, I was reading a book by Robert Cheek, and like I was like in a waiting room or something, and she was like, "Oh, a vegan bodybuilder," and this was before I'd actually started. And she was like, "Is it not really hard to be a vegan bodybuilder?" Like, and
Mm.
I like, well, if you went away today and decided to be a bodybuilder, would you know how to be a bodybuilder? And she went, no. And I went, so what's the
Mm.
difference? You would have to go read a book about being a bodybuilder to be a
Yeah.
bodybuilder. I am also reading a book on how to be a
Yeah.
bodybuilder to be a bodybuilder.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm like people are like, oh, but like the learning curve to be vegan, it's really hard, or the learning curve to do, and I'm like, but it's like learning a language. Like it's not impossible. You do it once,
Mhm.
and then you don't need to do it again. Like people say to me, oh, but
Perfect.
how do you
Yeah.
know what you're buying at the shop? And I'm like, because I buy it the week before, and I buy it the week before that, and I buy it the week before that.
You
Like
can
it's not.
learn basically. You
Yeah,
can learn
yeah.
and you can adapt. I think we've all had to learn along this journey. Like at the very start, I was just like, what do I even eat? I was just like making like banana peanut butter sandwiches. I was just like and like store bought like frozen burgers and stuff like that and homemade like chips and stuff. But yeah, I think you learn there's like this stage where you're like, I don't know what to cook. And then you buy a few recipe books and then you just sort of go from there.
Well, this is what
Um,
happened. Like I didn't know bread was vegan. I didn't know that um pasta in a packet was vegan. Like I didn't know it. Like back in the day when I went vegan, there was no soy milk in Tesco's. There was
Mhm.
no pea milk. There's no hemp milk. Like there was nothing like
Mm.
this. Like there
Yeah, there's
was.
way more options now for
Yeah.
people coming in. Mm. I
When you
was gonna
went,
ask you,
oh,
I was gonna ask you, if you could only, because you are big into fitness now, so if you could only do four exercises, what would they be? Only four, rest of your life.
so the pull-ups count.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, like I thought, well, pull-ups can just be like your accessories. So I probably do deadlifts,
Okay.
hack squat, lat pull downs, and pull-ups. Keep the lat gains and keep the booty gains.
Okay. Yeah, I know everybody's trying to get a good booty nowadays. That's what I'm noticing.
Well, yeah, booty quads and lats. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. And okay, so I've got two more questions. Should be real quick. What is your favorite fruit? Because this is like a fruit-based channel. So what is your favorite fruit?
So raspberries, do they count? Because I know they're a berry, but
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, 100%.
raspberries. Although I've been eating a lot of oranges lately, a lot of orange.
Mm. Get that
But
vitamin C.
yeah,
Okay, and last but not least, what books or documentary or individual would you recommend for someone who is just starting out and wants to learn more about veganism, plant-based nutrition, and the environment?
oh, so can I have like three books for the
Of
different ones?
course.
So I would probably say Earthling Ed, his first book because he goes into all the arguments against like soy tears down the rainforests and all that. So it gives you a really good basis. Then there's one, Shireen, um,
Ah, okay.
like eating plant-based. So she is the head of the plant-based health professionals and she goes into all the reasons why you wouldn't eat foods and then where you get your iron, where you get your protein, where you get your calcium. Like she goes through all the sort of diseases. And then so we've done environment, we've done health. What else are we doing?
It was basically health, environment, and just in relation to veganism.
Just in relation to
Yeah.
actually um being vegan. So again, Earthling Ed, but there is another um really good book by what's his name? It's not up here.
Ah, okay. Livestock's longer shadow. Okay.
Yeah, so that is by Tim Bailey, and it is a very good book on how things like antibiotic resistance, all the things that aren't strictly vegan, but how the environment, how animal agriculture is affecting the world as a whole. So
Hmm.
antibiotic resistance, river pollution, all these sort of things.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you very much. We can leave it there. Thank you very much for joining and bringing the doggos online. Yeah, hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you everyone for watching and listening in. Leave the links for Rosalind's Instagram on the bio if you want to check her out. And yeah, until next time.